Hey everyone, Regal Reviews here. It's the day before White Rice Wednesday. So I wanted to make a video regarding last week's vote out. I wanted to make a video solely about Tiffany from Survivor 41. Now, I know a lot of people agree. Tiffany was on a lot of she was like one of my main draft picks, and I'm in a couple different drafts, but she was my main draft pick. But she was also my number one winner pick. Like if I had to pick anybody from that season, it would probably be Tiffany. And reason being, I got some serious Mama C and Chrissy vibes from her. I thought she kind of gave me the vibe that she would be the mom of the group without being too smothering, if that makes any sense. Like she'd be the one that, the go-to person that people can go to and would be able to get advice on how to handle this situation in the game or whatever, but is also a major badass and make it to the end. Now, funny thing about Mama C and Chrissy, they both were runners-up in their season. So I thought if Tiffany didn't win, she would have at least made it to the final three, But sadly, she was our first jury vote. So it'll be very interesting to see her. Well, jury doesn't really get that much airtime, but except for a tribal. But I had a few comments to make, especially about the fact that people say, oh, she did nothing. She did nothing this whole game. Like, I don't know why people are like ooh and all over Tiffany. The thing of it is, people can have their own opinions about Survivor castaways, and rightfully so. You have the right to your own opinion. But to sit there and say that Tiffany did nothing the whole time is complete bullshit. And clearly are not watching the same game. Now, I'll talk about it in a few different pieces why I think, Tiffany would have made a good winner. Kind of just talk about it. So, one thing, Tiffany had a good social game. It doesn't appear as though she had any obvious enemies out there. I mean, she could have had some, and the editing, we just didn't see it. But she seemed to get along with everybody. Her main, go-to alliance member seemed to be Evie. They seemed to have a very good relationship, and for a while there, Leanna seemed to be in on that alliance as well. I feel like if Yasa was continued to be on that losing streak and it would have just been the three of them, they could have had something going there. I feel like they could have, been able to accomplish a lot with the girls thing, but Yasa got out of their losing streak, and Xander, Leanna, Evie, and Tiffany, they seem to be a really good, what do you call, like a quad or a good group. Let's just say a good group. They seem to be a very good group going forward. Now, they were aware that Xander had an idol. Of course, Xander lied to Tiffany about the idol, and Tiffany caught on to that. So you got to give her credit for being very aware of what's going on. I really respect that, because it's definitely not as easy as it looks inside of a big game like that. She seemed to be aware of things that were going on, and I don't think anyone, with the exception of Sydney, saw her as a threat. I remember during the summit when Tiffany went with Sydney, I remember Sydney thinking that, oh, she's a threat. She's already thinking like this. And at that point, I wouldn't say Tiffany was like a huge threat, like you had to get out. But it was interesting to see, like, just having, because they weren't on the same tribe. For people that don't watch Survivor, they weren't on the same tribe. So the fact that they only had like a conversation, and she already could see like Tiffany's like very aware and is like really playing the game. That really speaks a lot. So also too, you have to look at the previous episode's tribal council, not last week's. I'm talking the week before. The week before, we have that brilliant move when Leanna has that advantage where you have to ask somebody if they have an idol or an advantage, and it has to be asked correctly. Now, Xander was all about, saying that, oh, I have this advantage. He said, oh, it's all well known. I'm thinking, why the hell would you say out loud to everyone you have an advantage? And I'm going somewhere with this. So the obvious move then would be to give the idol to Evie. But when do you do it? And now, because it's known, Leanna can just simply ask Evie, do you have an idol? And especially when Xander was pulling out the idol at Tribal, if he were to have given it to Evie, Leanna would have seen that and she would have just asked Evie. Well, turns out that didn't happen, and he gave it to Tiffany. Now, it looks like from the editing that Xander came up with that move, but we actually learned that Tiffany and Evie were the ones who orchestrated that move and made it appear as though Xander did it. Like, they kind of did the behind the scenes work and Xander took all the credit for it. So that's kind of a problem when women play Survivor. It's a brilliant move. I'm not taking that away from them. But if it was like an obvious thing, like if it showed a woman in Xander's shoes, it wouldn't be seen as a bigger move. You know what I mean? Like, women have to play behind the scenes anyway, and then take them out then. Like, women are often perceived in the game like, you can't be too emotional because then you're a cry ass. You can't be too mad or you're labeled a bitch. You can't do this move because then you're labeled a liar and you can't be trusted. Whereas it's the exact opposite for a man. If a man did a brilliant, like a move like that, they think, oh, he's such a great player. It's playing such a great game right now. If a man cries like, oh, he's being so sensitive. So the fact that Tiffany and Evie did that move was amazing. Kudos to them. All credit goes to you. But then, on technical terms, Tiffany is now in possession of the idol and Xander's advantage. So now, technically, Tiffany could do whatever she wants with it. I mean, it's technically hers, but Tiffany gives it back to Xander. And apparently, because I didn't see the whole episode, from what I'm seeing in like exit interviews, everything, that as soon as Tiffany gave Xander his advantages back, he basically shunned her. She tried to get something to work and she couldn't talk to anybody. And it's got to be an awful feeling when you know that you might be on the bottom and you try to do everything in your power to make sure that you don't go home and you end up going home anyway. So if I were Tiffany, I would have you could have definitely done what Denise did last season and use Sandra's advantage to vote her out. That was just brilliant. I'm not saying Tiffany would do that, but who's to say she wouldn't have done that? You don't know. So Tiffany definitely made some moves out there in the game. I think people don't give her enough credit. She easily could have sat out challenges, but she competed in them. Was she like the fastest and ran like a gazelle? No, but she didn't give up and she participated in the challenge. And I think she maybe sat out maybe one challenge or so, correct me if I'm wrong. But here's the thing, and I get what people think about sit-outs. They think, oh, well, you're not really playing the game. The thing of it is, and the way I look at it is, if you know that, if you strategize like where your team's going to be during a challenge and you see that you're not going to be able to contribute to the challenge, like if there's a water challenge and you're not a good swimmer, then obviously you're not going to volunteer to be the swimmer. If you then have to go solve a puzzle and you know you're not good at solving puzzles, then you're not going to be the best fit for the in playing in that challenge. So you're contributing more sitting out than playing the game. So I definitely get the other side of it, because people would say, well, you haven't actually done any of the challenges. You just sat there the whole time. So I get both sides of the coin, but and I see that maybe more if it was like a consistent thing, like if the same person sat out back to back to back to back to back. But if you only sit out once because you know you can't contribute to a challenge, or you know what I mean, I see nothing wrong with that. So I loved Tiffany's Ponderosa video. Amazing, Queen of Ponderosa. Um, I definitely think Tiffany's a queen in general. Like, she seems like the type in Survivor that you do not want to mess with her. Like, I really admire Tiffany and her gameplay. I feel like she was very underestimated and isn't given enough credit for her actual moves and gameplay out there in the game. I really hope if they have a second chance season that she'll be asked back, or if they do that whole thing where we get to choose between 30 castaways who we'd want back. I hope Tiffany's at least in the running, so I can, promote the hell out of that and promote the hell out of Tiffany, and vote for Tiffany to get back on. Because is it upsetting that she got voted out? Yeah, but it's a game. We all know, we all watch it, we all get, we're all, upset when our favorite person goes. But it's a game. I'm not gonna dwell on it and make some people make it their whole life and everything. It's like, it's just a game. You move on, and there's gonna be more episodes to go, and I look forward to seeing what happens next. So kudos to Tiffany. I again hope we see her again. Well, technically we will see her the next few weeks as a jury member, but I hope we see her actually play the game again, and this time she wins the crown, but then also has the $1 million and the title of Sole Survivor. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching Survivor. I hope you guys enjoyed watching Tiffany's gameplay, and until next time, stay regal.